Alright, YouTube, it is Mr. Mean coming at you this Friday morning. It is 8:59, just short of 9 o'clock, Friday, November 22nd, 2019. I want to give a big shout out to everybody who watched the Eclipse Phase intro, whatever you want to call it, preview video. I do have a review of that coming real soon. I got it in the mail yesterday, and I just shot out a quick video, or day before, and shot out a quick video. I'm still going through it, still looking at it, but in the meantime, I had time to go through Symbaroum Monster Codex. Those that follow my channel know I like different types of games. I'm all over the place. I have gamer ADD. But before we get knee deep into this, I got one straggly beard hair, man. Life is crazy. I want to give a big shout out to all the new followers and everything, to the Meanie Army, and thank you guys so much. We're real close to 600 subscribers, and I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who's commented on the videos. And give a shout out to everybody who's taken the time to watch the Talking Head Syndrome. I know it's not a super big thing on YouTube, and lately we've been getting a lot of heat. There's a lot of videos talking about talking heads, but I don't have a full production staff behind me. I don't have a ton of money to dump into software. I use OBS because it's free. I used to use VideoPad Editor, but the learning curve was kind of steep on it, and it wasn't easy to use, and I work in IT, and the last thing I want to do is come home and fight with computers and software, and sometimes I could get it to do things, and other times it wouldn't, and then they'd release a patch, and it's a good program, and it was like $60 for a license, so it's a good program, and I still have it. I just don't use it. OBS does everything I need to do, because basically I am literally the talking head, and so all I want to do is just record my 30, 40, 50-minute videos, and then upload them to YouTube, which makes it pretty easy with OBS. So it is literally a one-click button to record and then to stop recording. So, but anyway, let's get some housekeeping out of the way. As always, like and subscribe, hit the bell to be dinged when I dong. You'll be notified when I post new videos, and then we can go for that. One hair is just going to drive me batty. I'm on ZellyPay if you want to donate to the channel, which is always great. Obviously, it helps with the hobby, and I'm a single income family. Obviously, everybody's begging for money. I'm no different. So any donations to the channel help. My wife is in therapy, and she's doing great. But she's unable to work right now and for the foreseeable future. So we're dealing with that. And then we have a lovely, and you probably saw it in the last video, I think, 2.5-year-old little monster running around. He's amazing. So obviously any hobby dollars you throw my way go back into the channel, and you can donate via ZellyPay or PayPal Pay Me. There's a link on my YouTube channel. Unfortunately, the link to the PayPal Pay Me is super small. It's all the way over to the right on the top banner there where you see my logo. And that logo was graciously provided to me by Sathan, one of my followers on Discord. He's a fantastic GM from what I hear, and artistically he's just a god. The guy does amazing work. So go on my Discord channel, check him out. You'll see some of his images. And of course, segueing into Discord, you can go on to my. There's a link to my Discord that you can join. I'm in there quite a bit. When we talk about games and stuff like that. So. So all of that out of the way, again, thanks to everyone who's subscribed recently, and for all the donations and everything. I really appreciate it. Like I said, it goes back into the channel. So today's video du jour, Symbaroum Monster Codex. I sadly do not have a PDF of it, so you're going to have to do the old hold it up to the camera, which is not very professional, and it doesn't look very good, but I hope that at least it will give you an idea of the quality of this book and what you're getting and bang for your buck. And that's pretty much the point of these videos, is to just share with you what I like, A, and B, if it might give you some inclination to something that you would like to purchase. I do apologize. I'm getting over a cold. I took today off as a mental health day. 2 of my coworkers are out of the office next week, so I volunteered stay in the office and keep the ship afloat while everybody else is enjoying the holidays. So I took today off to just make sure I'm okay and I don't have to call in sick next week. So if I cough or I hack or I sneeze, I apologize right now. It was pretty bad in the other video, but so far this morning I've been fine. So let's get in it. This was a successful Kickstarter. I'm going to throw up a buyer beware, and it's nothing against Yarnigan or Symbaroum or Free Liga. It's against Amazon. I purchased this off of Amazon for like $35, which is a great price because I think the normal retail, it's not on here because this is a Swedish book and it's imported. But I bought this off of Amazon. I've bought a lot of RPG stuff off of Amazon because I don't have a very good local game store that carries current product. And the good game store I do have is in Wisconsin called Level Up Games, and they're fantastic. The problem is they don't carry anything in stock. They're a Magic the Gathering shop and a Warhammer 40K and Games Workshop shop, and they don't even really carry anything new from them. They want you to order everything, and then unfortunately with Games Workshop you can't get much of a discount. So for tabletop RPGs I think they give like a 10% discount, which is nice and I appreciate it, but I'd have to wait a week plus to get it from them, whereas if I go to Amazon I get typically a 20 to 25% discount, minimum 10%, and I get it within 2 days, 9 out of 10 times. So obviously for my bang for my buck, I'm going to Amazon. And I've told them that. I said, if you offered more of a discount, I would be more than willing to order from you and wait that time. But they don't want to do that. And I understand they're a business. They've got to make money. I fully understand it. But I'm going to go where my money gets me the best value. And since my hobby dollars are very limited, I basically survive off of the donations that you guys give me is what I use to pay for my hobby stuff, and then the rest of my money goes to supporting my family and my wife and my son. Daycare is extremely expensive here in Minnesota, so obviously I work to live to work. But neither here nor there. My ding against Amazon, and I've reached out to them, and they basically kind of blew me off, which really I don't want to say hurt my feelings, but it made me a little crossed, and so I'm not as big of an Amazon supporter as I used to be, and I'm seriously debating whether or not I'm going to pay for Amazon Prime next year, because if this is how they're shipping books, I don't want to pay for it. I have obviously a collection. I take really good care of my books, but this thing came all dinged up. You can see, and I don't know how well the camera's going to pick this up, but you can see that's pretty mangled there on the corner. It's all bent up, because all they did was put this in a lightly padded envelope, a standard Amazon media mail envelope, and left it on my doorstep. And as far as I know, the mailman could have just tossed it, and that's how it got dinged, or it got dinged in shipping. So it's pretty banged up there. The corner here is banged up, and then there's where it hits something down here. Again, the camera, the detail on the camera is not that good. And I contacted Amazon and complained to them about it, and they basically just blew me off. Same thing with the Book of Judgment. I told you guys a couple weeks ago that I was getting real big into Necromunda. This one's same thing. Corners all dinged up. I mean, you can even see that clearly right there. It's all creased. The pages were bent a little bit. And then I think one of the corners on one of these books, I think it was the rule book. Yeah, the rule book here. This is the Necromunda rule book. And the corner here is all split. And, with wear and tear, I expect normal wear and tear, but the book is going to tear apart eventually, and I'm not happy about that. So if you guys want to see a review of Necromunda and my thoughts on it, let me know. Post them down in the comments if you're 40K fans. I love Necromunda. I played the hell out of the first edition of Necromunda. And so when I was able to pick up the core box set for dirt cheap for $40. It's $140 on Amazon and eBay and respectively in stores where you can find it. And I got it for $40 from my friend that manages the game store over at Level Up. And I'm fighting. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. Like I told you. So yeah, I got a smoking deal on that. But so yeah, just beware on Amazon. Maybe if you're going to buy something from them, a book or whatever, maybe contact the seller and say, hey, how do you package your books? I'm spending good money on this, and I don't want a mangled book when it comes to my doorstep. So I haven't bought anything recently after this, which I just got in the mail last week. So anything future I buy, I'm going to definitely contact them and say, hey, please package it well, or I will return it for a refund, because I'm not going to pay for a damaged book. So anyway, so Symbaroum Monster Codex. This is a Swedish game. If you're not familiar with Symbaroum, go back in the archives, look at my review of Symbaroum. It's a great game. This is a game where it's a storytelling game. And immediately when you say storytelling, most people think of Vampire the Masquerade, Changeling, The Dreaming, or Werewolf the Apocalypse, or Werewolf the Forsaken. I didn't get into the New World of Darkness. But it's along those lines in the aspect that it focuses on the story. The mechanics are there to facilitate the story. And one of the reasons this is fastly becoming one of my favorite RPGs is it's a very dark fantasy setting that I like, because there's plenty of dark fantasy settings out there that, in my opinion, are not that good. This one is that good. But what's innovative about this is the GM doesn't roll any dice. All dice rolls are on the player, and the player is either attacking or defending or trying to observe something or trying to sneak past, and the modifiers come from the NPCs and modifies their dice. It's a D20 based game, and and that's it. So very super cool. Very you as the GM can focus on telling a story. So when you don't have dice to roll and you don't have to worry about that stuff, it really frees up your time to be innovative and provocative in your thought process on what kind of adventure you're going to run. Free Liga and the Yarninigan guys have come up with some great story arcs and stuff that you can pre-purchase or purchase to run your games. And so one of the things they were lacking, and it's just finally come out, is the Monster Codex. This was kickstarted very successfully. I did not get in on it because at the time I was unemployed and I just didn't have the money. And what's nice about this book is so well laid out. It's let's see here. It is 192 pages with the 192nd page being just the Free Liga Symbaroum logo. So it's pretty blank. But then after that, there's a bunch of thank yous for the Kickstarter backers, which they give them different designations. And then it's got 2 ribbons for 2 different bookmarks, which I think is amazing. I think more companies need to do this. I know it's a cost effect. It's costly. I can't think, guys. I'm sorry. I'm doped up on cough medicine. It's costly, and it's not cheap. But I think the mileage that you get out of it and the repeat customers that generate from just these simple things like this is a lot. So beautiful cover. I'll hold that up there so you can see it. Some elves fighting. I'm not quite sure what those are. I know they're in the book. I think they're some sort of spider, blight spiders or something. I can't remember. But anyway, it's a great cover. The art is just consistent throughout the book, so it meets my criteria. It's a hardback. It's a stitch sewn in there, so it's not going to fall apart on you anytime soon. The ribbons are solid. And of course, the art is consistent throughout the book. You can't go wrong. So Martin Grip, Matthias Johnson, and Matthias Lilja are the creative people behind Yarnigan, and it's just it's awesome, guys. You can't beat this. So Beast, Friends, and Abominations. So what this book gives you is it gives you a bunch of adversaries. It gives you some NPCs, some non-player characters that you can, add to your player group if they're a little thin on muscle or brain power or magic or whatever. So you get Hordes of the Eternal Night, you get monsters and adversaries, and you get rules and guidelines. And when they say rules and guidelines, they are not playing. It goes from page 160 to 191 or 190. And they go through every rule that they added in this book. you're not going to be looking, if you use a monster out of here, the rules for it are in here, and you're going to have everything you need. So if you're a budding GM or storyteller and you want to run a dark fantasy game, A, I highly recommend this, and B, do yourself a service and pick up the Monster Codex, because it's going to provide you with oodles and oodles of storytelling fodder for you to run your games. And what's really nice, one of the things I really like that they do is they give you a little piece of fiction of someone talking about the monster or the critter or whatever it may be in a context that makes it relevant to the world of Symbaroum. And then they give you the stats and everything for the monster. And then at the end of each little section, and each monster has 2 to 3 to 4 pages, depending on what they are, there's an adventure setup. So like this is a glint. And glints are almost like a tick-like creature. You can see the image there. And they get in and they go in through your mouth, and they take over you and they make you do bad things. So there's an adventure setup, so the GM can read that and focus an evening's adventure. So really good. I'm a seat of the pants GM. I don't do a whole lot of adventure prep. I have a basic storyline in my head, and then I decide what's going to happen there. Like tonight is my Pathfinder game. I have an idea of what they're going to go through, but I don't have anything written down. I literally, later on today, I'll go through the monster manual. I'll decide what NPCs they're going to meet with and everything. I have an overarching story idea that I'm using, and tonight's going to be a lot of role play. They might run into some brigands and stuff, but again, Pathfinder has its bestiary, same thing like this. But it doesn't give you any adventure ideas, which I think it does on some of them. Don't quote me on that. But in here, you get some synopsis and some adventure ideas for what to use them. And you can have a guan. And there's the hobgoblins. The art. It's got that spooky watercolor, kind of blurry. Am I really seeing this? Almost as if you're waking up from a dream and there's somebody standing there. King Toad, this thing is awesome. I want to run Symbaroum just to put my players against this, because it is a monster. And it has King Toad Older, the young. You get some story ideas. So, I don't want to go through all the book. So obviously it's just your standard monster manual, but one of the cool things it has is it has the rules guidelines, and this is anything that they've referenced in the stat blocks for the monsters and NPCs and adversaries. There's rules for it in here, or they tell you exactly where to go to get those rules. So the art is phenomenal. The layout is amazing. You couldn't ask for anything more. It's really well done. Vengeful terrain. Yes, even the ground is out to kill you. Because remember, Dovahkiin is a fallen civilization in the Symbaroum world, and it's where most of your adventuring takes place. And so, I'm just going to give you the blurb off the back here. The Symbaroum Monster Codex makes the settlements, woods, and vales of the Dovahkiin region more dangerous than ever before. More than 100 creatures, monsters, and abominations are crammed together between these covers. Some of them well known, others only mentioned in legends and fairy tales. Some unstoppably hungry, others open to negotiations. Some presented in detail, others with only short descriptions. Combined with the guidelines on how to create creatures of your own, the content of this bestiary should provide materials for hundreds of hours at the gaming table. So yeah, the other cool part in here is there's how to make a monster. So if you're coming from a D&D background, or say Pathfinder, or maybe even a World of Darkness game, and you want to make one of the monsters out of there, you're pretty much going to be able to figure out how to do it with the information that's provided in here. So I can't say enough good things about this. This is really, really a beautiful book. It is in the typical Symbaroum quality. It's hardback, stitched, glued, spine, ribbons in there for page bookmarks. The art is fantastic. All the little footnotes, all the little excerpts from adventurers who have encountered these critters or adversaries. All of the stats that you need. Here's all your different infantry and soldiers and stuff, so that you can put them against the players or help the players in some cases. It's all in here. This is, I think, the GM screen, which is a fantastic value. I think it's a very well done GM screen, and the core book is all you need as a storyteller GM to run this game. You don't need to buy anything else. Now, of course, Yarninigan would love it if you bought, the Codex cards and everything like that, which I plan on getting one day if my group decides to play this. I'm going to pitch it to them because we're coming into the holiday seasons, and I want to run something different from Pathfinder because I'm going to miss two of my players for part of the. One player's already out, and another player leaves next week or the week after, and he's gone for the whole month. He won't be back until after January 1st. And my other player's in India right now, and he won't be back until after January. So I'm down 2 players out of my 6, so that kind of sucks. Or 5. I have 5 players, I'm sorry. So I want to run something different. I'm thinking Deadlands, the original Deadlands. I'm thinking Symbaroum. I'm thinking something sci-fi. Possibly even Eclipse Phase, because the book is just absolutely gorgeous, and I have access to all the PDFs that they did out for first edition, and all of that stuff is still compatible. So I've got a plethora of games to run for my friends. It's just a matter of when I want to do it. So, and which game I choose, and I want them to have a say-so in it, because I enjoy running for them. My enjoyment of running the game is A, the game I'm running, and B, the players' excitement. And right now, my players are gung-ho for Pathfinder. We're really enjoying it, and it's a good game. So that's my thoughts on Symbaroum. Have you played it? Do you like it? Do you like the diceless GM? I know a lot of people are not a fan of it. I gotta say, I do like tossing dice, against the players and for the players sometimes. So it took me a little bit to wrap my head around this, but once you get it, you get it. And it's an elegant system. It's not perfect. No game system is perfect. You're always going to be able to find flaws, and this has a few, but they do a very good job of addressing them and making everything relevant and playing to its strengths and minimizing its weaknesses. So if you like to focus on your story and not be worried about running dice and everything, this might be the game for you. So go back in the archive, check out the actual review of the actual game itself. But the monsters in here are... This is the third time now I've opened up the book, and I've opened up to the glint. So obviously I'm going to have to run an adventure with the glint in it. That's just the book telling me it wants me to use the glint. And just a little excerpt about the glint. A creature infected by a glint gains the monstrous traits Swift and Sturdy, which they explain what Swift and Sturdy are in the book. And should it already have these, its level in these traits increases by +1, but can never be higher than level 3. All beings with a mouth big enough for a glint to force its way in can be infected, but thoroughly corrupt creatures seem to be immune to this particular infestation. It should be also noted that the shape-shifting creatures called bestials appear to have a special relationship with glints. See page 16 for further information on this topic. So, I mean, it's super cool, man. So if your players go to sleep, this thing's like the size of a large tick, like a small mouse, and it crawls in your mouth and then it takes you over. And the only way to tell is that the longer it's in you, you get a bigger glow out of your mouth. And that's creepy. Okay, so if you're talking to someone and their mouth is glowing, you might want to just chop their head off and be done with it, because it's not going to end well for you. So yeah, when your players decide to make camp out in the woods in Dovakar, maybe some glints can come their way. Or maybe they rescue a woman who's in trouble, or a young child, and he's infected with a glint. And then once everybody beds down for the night, it crawls out and starts infecting other players. So that's my thoughts and ideas behind Symbaroum's Monster Codex. I'm going to put a link to the Amazon where you can buy it, and also to Yarninigan's website, Free Liga. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, like and subscribe. Let me know what you thought. Are you using the Monster Codex book? Is it on your list of books to get? I'm telling you, it's highly worth it. It is definitely a buy in Mr. Means library, and you can see the core rulebook is sitting right there because I've got it out to look at it to talk to the players tonight to see what they want to play. And like I said, I'm also leaning towards Deadlands, the original Deadlands, not the Savage Worlds version of Deadlands, the original version of Deadlands, because I like that dice mechanic better. You get to roll a bunch of dice. And I just watched Undeadwood on YouTube, which is a 4-part miniseries from Critical Role guys, and it was phenomenal. It was really good. A lot of fun to watch. If you're into watching tabletop RPGs on YouTube, definitely check it out. It's well worth your time. Brian Foster did a great job of GMing. Matt Mercer was the gunslinger, and they were all in costume. It was a lot of fun. And they had good production value. So anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on Free Liga's Symbaroum Monster Codex. I hope you enjoyed it. Put your comments down below. Let me know what you thought about it. If you do buy a copy, let them know you were sent there by Mr. Mean. Doesn't do anything for me, but it'd be nice. Maybe kudos to the channel. I really like the product that those guys put out, and I'm hoping to be sponsored by a couple of different RPGs. So if you do wind up purchasing anything for me, let them know that you saw it on Mr. Mean's channel, and we'll go from there. But as always, guys, peace, love, and happiness. Have a great Thanksgiving. I don't think I'll get another video out before the holidays. I might. I don't know. But as always, peace, love, and happiness. And Mr. Mean, as always, in this time of the year where we need to be extra nice, be nice.